What's up, everybody? This is Diesel Donlo, owner and operator of Diesel Donlo Company. Today, I want to introduce you to one of our collaborations, our collaborators, Briana, from Point Claire, Quebec. She's into the dogs and taking care of dogs and creating a business and space so dogs can get adopted and taken back home. So I'm going to invite her in here real quick. Let me get her in here. Should be coming any minute.
Hi.
How you doing?
I'm good, thanks. How are you, Diesel?
It's a pleasure to have you on today.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Yes, you're welcome. So I was just telling the audience, you probably heard that I was going back where you're from. Is it called Point Claire, Quebec?
Yes.
Quebec.
So Point Claire, it's a city. It's more public, like common Montreal. That isn't better but known. But Point Claire is where I currently am. Where Bri Cares Adoption is centered, but Montreal is the city. It's like the downtown area, and that's probably what's more commonly known rather than Point Claire in Montreal.
Okay, so everyone, you got that. She's from the Montreal area of Quebec, and she also speaks multiple languages as well. So we want to just take this opportunity to let people know who you are, and I was just letting people know, like, we're working together to bring awareness, and also we have some merch and all that stuff. But let's talk about like how you got started and where you're from, and go back to like that childhood.
For sure. So my mom's Mexican, so on that side, I have a lot of family in Mexico, and I grew up going there all the time. And they have a crazy street dog problem, more so when I was younger in like the 90s, but. So I would just go there all the time, and I'd be so happy because there'd be dogs everywhere, and I didn't realize, that they didn't have homes and they weren't just there for me to pet, and that at the end of the day they didn't go to a warm bed and everything with the family. And when I got into rescue here in Montreal, it was haphazardly. I was working at a boarding facility, and they started doing rescue, and I loved it, and that was almost 15 years ago. And when I had the chance to work with international rescue, I thought of Mexico, and I was really, really, really blessed to meet an incredible shelter, Acción Animal, in Playa del Carmen, Mexico. And they have been, helping me find beautiful dogs to be able to bring here to Montreal and get adopted. And I was able to kind of full circle come and help the dogs that so many years ago not the same dogs, obviously, but, it was my dream, and I'm just really, really excited to be able to do that. I'm so happy that I've met someone like you who's giving me a platform to kind of, bring more awareness to rescue and Bri Cares Adoption.
Right. That's awesome. And that's very important that people, know who you are and know how, you got involved with it. And so one of the first questions I wanted to ask you, that I wrote down was, can you name like a experience that you had working at the boarding facility that brought you a closer connection to the dogs?
Yeah, of course. I've always loved dogs, and I think I consider myself blessed to have a really special connection with dogs. So some dogs that are nervous or more aggressive, I'm able to kind of, get out of their shell and gain their trust more quickly than maybe others. And so a lot of times through the rescue dogs, or even the client dogs that are just nervous, being, out of sorts and away from their homes and their owners, and sometimes they're in a stressed state. And I've been able to help a lot of dogs kind of come out of that state and feel at ease and calm, and they come back many times, and they're happy to see me, and their owners notice the difference when, before they're anxious. After they're more comfortable, we're able to socialize them. It's a lot of times it's a lack of experience, or in the rescue case, maybe a bad experience that leaves them, to be more afraid. But I find that working in that boarding facility and meeting so many dogs, sometimes for a day, sometimes for months, sometimes repetitively, sometimes only once, I was definitely able to see on a larger scale different dogs and their personalities, and how it plays with their breed or how they were raised, or sometimes genetics, luck. But I'm very, very excited to be able to take that knowledge and help other dogs that need, that kind of understanding and compassion, find them homes.
Now, do you think people realize that dog has emotions and feelings? I think a lot of people just like think dogs are emotionless and all that. Can you share like how dogs are emotional as well? Have feelings?
I totally agree. I feel I've worked in the industry for quite a while, and I've seen the progression in how people, view their animals and how they treat them. A lot of them consider them family, whereas before they were more of an accessory or, furniture or something cute, and animals, if you look into their eyes, you can see their souls, their emotions. I've seen dogs cry. I've seen dogs be afraid, sad, happy. Some dogs smile. They're fantastic. They have such a widespread array of emotions, and they're very empathetic. They feel, that's why there's dogs that can be, bomb sniffing dogs and cancer sniffing dogs, because they have this crazy way of sensing things that are not, that we humans can't sense. So absolutely, they're very, very emotional beings.
Wow. I just think a lot of people don't know that, know about like dogs being emotion. I have emotion.
I agree.
My next question.
Education, I feel. Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say education, I feel like plays a big part in a lack of education, should I say, just because in a lot of these countries as well, where there's a lot of street dogs, they don't get their dogs sterilized, or they don't keep them as indoor dogs. They're just left to wander, and then as they're not fixed, they go and they make babies, and then the street population grows, and it's just a constant problem. But education and lack of services, maybe lack of funds for sterilizing and stuff. But I think education is the base of it. A lot of people don't know that if by sterilizing their dogs, they can help them avoid many, many cancers, later in life. So it's really, I think that's a big process of rescue as well. It's really just about, helping people understand things that maybe they didn't even consider, that is for us so obvious.
Now, how do we as a society like help dogs, like you said, be better for, the environment? Like, what's some ways people can help?
I feel like Bob Barker, what is it, from like Wheel of Fortune? He's like, just spay and neuter your pets. No, not spay, Wheel of Fortune. The Price is Right, right? They always said spay and neuter your pets. I feel like that's a very important thing. Spay and neuter your pets. We're not breeders. There's really no reason to be making more dogs unless you are like a registered breeder. There are so many dogs in needs of homes that if you really want a dog, even a purebred dog, you can find one in a rescue. You may have to wait a little, you may have to put in a little more love and effort and train them, but you can find that purebred dog that you've dreamed of your whole life in a rescue and give a second chance to this dog that deserves it and wouldn't be able to get, that opportunity otherwise. So I feel like that's the most important thing. And also when you're not equipped to train a dog for certain things, just ask for help. There are so many trainers, there's vet services, because abandonment for dogs it's one thing to have one and care for them, but then to keep them for the longevity of their lifespan and help them throughout anything that they may encounter in the future. That's unfortunately not the case for all pet owners. Sometimes it's, oh, they're too big, they're not as cute, or they're too, they're too rambunctious. And it's like family. For any family member, you're not like, oh, well, the kid has a behavioral issue and we're going to, get rid of them. You have to work on that with them and help them and find the way to help them if you can't do it yourself by asking someone else for help. So definitely there's sterilization and training if necessary, to help you maintain that dog in your home.
Wow, that was a lot of good information there. Seriously.
I'm so sorry. I'm a chat.
No.
I blabbed.
No. I'm learning too. What are some future aspirations for like your business, your company that that you want to accomplish with your brand, the mission for the dogs? Is it going to be other animals as well, or is it just dogs? That's what it is right now.
So I right now concentrate on dogs. I have in the past done cat rescue as well, because in Montreal it's a huge problem. The street the cat street population is enormous, because cats repopulate so quickly that one unsterilized cat is like, at the end of the year, it's like 50 to 100. It's really quite absurd. So I know a lot of rescues that solely dedicate themselves to rescuing cats, and over long term, I would love to dabble, because I love cats. But right now I'm just focusing on dogs. It's just more of what I know. It's more of what I'm comfortable with in terms of rescue. But I love all animals, to be fair. We don't have, like goat. I mean, to be actually, there's farm sanctuaries as well. I would rescue all of the animals if I could, but I find it's better for me to focus on something, kind of grow that, perfect that, and then if I could, and if I would like to move onwards. But for now, I would like, on a grand scale, I have done international rescue and go all around the world and help bring dogs, special needs dogs, tripods, dogs with blind, deaf dogs. I've dealt with special needs dogs and I love them. And in a lot of countries where they're born, they may never be adopted because people consider it broken or ugly or whatever it is that they say. Black dogs have an issue being adopted too. It's so stupid, but it's really, really hard. So I would like to try to help the seniors. I love seniors, and I find a lot of people are more receptive to seniors nowadays. So, and in a lot of countries, they would never be adopted. People want young, so I would like to go and kind of help more the dogs that would be harder to adopt rather than like puppies. I love puppies, don't get me wrong, but I feel like it's easier to get a puppy a home, in my experience. And then I would love to just help the street population in Mexico and hopefully worldwide, spay and neuter campaigns, so that the people who maybe can't afford it are able to sterilize their animals and therefore help reduce the street dog population. And it's because it's all a vicious circle, and we have to kind of start helping diminish the amount, or it's just going to be a continuous thing. And eventually, wouldn't it be nice if we didn't have to rescue the animals because people were just treating them well and keeping them as long as they should, and whatever. That's maybe a very far-fetched dream, but for now I just want to definitely expand, find more fosters and get more donations and be able to expand Bri Cares and help more dogs here locally as well as internationally.
Is it like, since you do international as well, what's the difference, like I know you said you did some in Mexico before. What's the difference between doing it in Mexico and Canada? Is there like big differences?
So I've dealt with different countries as well, like Thailand and Lebanon, and I find the cruelty is more physical and more violent, right, unfortunately, in a lot of those countries. Like, not to say that you don't go to maybe, some country place out here in Montreal and in Quebec where there's not a lot of surveillance and people are not doing dogfighting and horrible atrocities either. But I've seen a lot of dogs that were shot, a lot of dogs that were, chopped out with machetes and run over, hit on purpose. Like, I feel like it's more aggressive in my experience. And I'm sure there are horrible things that have happened to local, Canadian dogs. But I feel like and there's less people maybe wanting to help. There are a lot of people that do amazing things in all of those countries, and if they can't take the dog in themselves, they'll feed them, or they'll give money, or they'll pay for their boarding. Like, there are fantastic people everywhere in the world, but I find, like, as a whole, a lot of those dogs have more success coming to the States and Canada to be adopted, especially once they are, disfigured, or, they have some kind of physical abnormality or whatever. I feel like we are more open to kind of seeing beyond that, and we all love dogs, so we're just kind of like, I don't even care what happened to it, I'm gonna love it unconditionally. There's like, I saw a comedian where there's just like a dog that has no legs and no, just like a little ball and a head, and they're being adopted, and it's just, I'm sure they would, because we would find a way to like love it, and they have such personality that you can just see past that. It's just dogs are just life.
So you talked about dogs are very important to you and your organization. How can people get involved with, like, donating or supporting? Like, what's some good ways people can help out?
Locally, we're always looking for fosters, flight volunteers, which would aid the dogs that are already adopted and waiting in the shelter in Mexico, and hopefully future countries. But for right now, we're just focusing on Mexico. And I'm just looking for people that are traveling from Montreal to Cancun, to physically come with the dog, but not necessarily pay. It's covered by the rescue. So that's for people that are local, internationally, or anywhere else. I mean, donations are always greatly appreciated. We always got bills, and the more money we have, the more dogs we can help. And that's pretty much it.
Wow. So I know Bri has a busy schedule here. We want to just appreciate you for coming on and sharing your story with the audience today. Is there any last words you would like to say about, how, you love dogs, or something like that, dogs mean to you, or something like you want to share to the audience?
Yeah. I mean, dogs are the best. I feel like a lot of people would agree with me on that. And if you can, adopt a dog. If you can't adopt, foster. If you can't foster, donate your time, donate money. There are so many things that you can do locally to Bri Cares Adoption or any shelter in your area. I mean, possibilities are endless, and they don't have a voice, so we have to kind of be their voices and help them as much as we can. And everyone could do their part, be it however small. It makes a difference.
Right. As you guys can hear, make sure you follow Bri, her social medias. Oh, she has one for the dogs. Can you say the name?
Yeah, Bri Cares Adoption. And for anyone who would like to make any donations, you can always send PayPal or e-transfer to bricaresadoption@gmail.com. And you can follow us on Facebook or on Instagram, and a lot of information on ways that you can get involved and support. And please like and follow and share everyone you know.
Yes, and you guys are going to see a lot more stuff for her on our page, as we're working with her to bring some awareness. And also, you can get some merch on our website. It's on there live, and if you want to support, so we can keep these dogs, safe and nurtured and loved and cared and inspired, so they find the right home. So no, we want to thank you for your time. Thank you for sharing your gift, your inspiration, your love, your passion. I didn't even know about half the stuff you said. I'm sure the audience didn't know either. But when people come back and watch this video, because I feel like they will hopefully see your passion and love, and how we're working together to bring dogs off the street into homes and caring for them and loving them and all that stuff. So I want to thank you again for your time.
Thank you so much, Diesel, for this opportunity. Have a wonderful day. Thank you, everyone.
Yep, I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye-bye.